Well, long-term disability is basically long-term disability insurance. It's not Social Security disability, as provided by the state. Long-term disability is a policy that either you buy or your employer provides to you, or you both contribute to. It's a specialized insurance, and every policy is somewhat different. Where if I'm out of work, short-term, it may be short-term disability, but if I'm out of work due to injury or illness over an extended period of time, it will help recoup some of my lost wages, my income. Long-term disability, I'm disabled for a period of time. Again, it's very different from Social Security, and you can get both, but it's a special type of insurance. Not everybody has it, not everyone's entitled to it. But that's what that implies. Bad faith is a discussion about when an insurance company acts inappropriately in bad faith. It's just a legal term, meaning they treated you wrong. There's an insurance policy. You have rights under that policy. You paid your premiums. They didn't pay you what you think or responsibly you're entitled to. So that's the bad faith. They're acting in bad faith. There's tons of different policies. Unum Provident, Paul Revere, Provident Life basically come under Unum, which does underwriting for numerous insurance companies. Then you have Cigna, and there's Cigna Health Insurance, but this is Cigna Long-Term Disability, and Standard is another one. There's Northwestern, Mutual, there's tons of different policies. Those are the three biggest ones. And if you have a policy and you're disabled, you'll make a claim, whether through your employer or through yourself, you make a claim. And once you're denied, contact someone who has experience in this immediately, because it's not like a state lawsuit where you have a year or 2 years or 3 years. There is a contractual obligation that you have to appeal within a certain period of time. And again, every policy is different, and that may determine, every policy may have a different time period. So you need to contact someone immediately to preserve your rights, or else, even if you don't, you need to make some kind of appeal immediately in writing, and keep a copy, of course, so you'll do that timely. And if then it gets denied, then call me. And then we'll review your policy, we'll review the injuries that you have, and we'll see what your policy, what your policy entitles you to, and if we think that we can win this case for you. Well, say I'm a lawyer. And they say, well, you can't practice law anymore, Greg, but you make an excellent piano teacher. Yeah, not really, trust me. I've tried. I've tried playing, not gonna happen. But they'll say, well, you're not disabled. There's something you can do out there. It's more like Social Security disability. But there's others called an own occupation policy that says, Greg, if you're a trial lawyer and you can no longer be a trial lawyer, we're gonna pay you. Sure, you may be able to be a piano teacher, but you cannot be a trial lawyer. I have two policies. One is an own occupation policy. The second one I bought a couple years later. Nope, it's general disability. And I hate to say, the premiums are very different in those. So you really have to know what you're looking at and know what you get. Also, you have to be very careful, because Social Security, they can make you apply for Social Security, or they can do it for you, more or less. And if you get Social Security, they may get an offset, depending on the amount of Social Security that you get. Another question that comes up in this, what kind of recovery can I make? Do I get just the money under my policy? Well, they should have paid me that anyway. Why can't I get some kind of damages for going through all this time with no money? Well, that's when it comes into bad faith. It depends on the type of policy you have. If you have a policy that you've paid for, or you contributed to, then you probably have the chance of getting bad faith. If it's through your employer, there's a very good chance it's called Erisa, which is a long word for a special policy that the government thinks is great because your employer provides it, or provides it in part to you. In that case, you can only get the actual damages as defined by your insurance policy. Some people only take the bad faith cases. We actually investigate both. but that's one thing that comes into play quite often. Under the policy, they can, you're supposed to apply for it if available. And I have to admit, I get some cases from people who are on Social Security disability and say, hey, I'm on Social Security disability, why won't my long-term disability pay? And vice versa, people who have their long-term disability and then they get the offset from Social Security disability. We look at all that. If nothing else, just to make sure sometimes that the offset's appropriate. We give you a free consultation. We look at it, see if we think we can help. If we can, great. If we can't, we'll tell you. These cases, I hate to say, we have to be kind of particular about. If you get nothing, we get nothing. So we'll make sure it's a case that we think we can win for you, because we don't want to add insult to injury that you've had, where, pouring salt in a wound, where we throw you through this into a case and investigation and say, yeah, and it happens sometimes, but we really can't help you. But we want to help you. That's how we make our living. We're gunslingers. We don't get our man, we don't get paid. That's just the way it is. So we want to help you, because the better job we do for you, the better job we do for ourselves. We want to help people. That's why we do injury work. That's why I help people who are injured or disabled, whether it's from car wrecks, from Social Security, to long-term disability, to all sorts of other type of injury and disability cases. That's what we do. If anybody needs to reach me, call me toll-free, 1-800-693-6903. Or, of course, on the web, www.gregjoneslaw.com or www.disabilitydenied.com.